On a night filled with bright lights, nervous dreams, and sky-high expectations, the stage of America's Got Talent became the setting for a moment no one could have predicted. The iconic talent show, America's Got Talent, has seen magicians defy logic, singers shatter glass ceilings, and dancers bend reality. But this performance felt different from the very first second. A small Filipino child walked onto the massive stage, dwarfed by the towering LED screens and the sea of faces in the audience. The judges, led by the famously hard-to-impress Simon Cowell, looked on with polite curiosity. No one expected what was about to happen. The child's humble appearance and soft-spoken introduction gave no hint of the storm that was coming. As the spotlight narrowed and the opening notes of an Elvis classic began to play, the atmosphere shifted. The audience leaned forward, intrigued but skeptical. After all, how could someone so young possibly channel the spirit of the king of rock and roll? But then, the first lyric left the child's lips, and the entire theater froze. It wasn't just good. It wasn't just impressive. It was uncanny. It was as if time had folded in on itself, carrying everyone back decades to an era of swiveling hips and velvet vocals. The song choice was bold, an iconic hit by Elvis Presley, a legend whose voice defined a generation. Elvis's rich, velvety baritone, his effortless vibrato, and his emotional depth are qualities seasoned performers spend a lifetime trying to emulate. Yet here stood a child, barely tall enough to reach the microphone stand, delivering each note with astonishing precision and maturity. The tone was warm and resonant, carrying the same magnetic pull that once made crowds scream in the 1950s. The phrasing was deliberate, the vibrato controlled, the emotion genuine. Gasps rippled through the crowd as jaws slowly dropped. Some audience members exchanged stunned glances, as if silently asking one another, "Are you hearing this?" The resemblance was not a simple imitation. It felt spiritual, almost mystical. The child didn't just copy Elvis, he embodied him. Every subtle inflection, every breath between lines, seemed to mirror the king's signature style. Even the stage presence, confident yet humble, echoed the charisma that once electrified stadiums around the world. As the performance continued, the camera cut to the judges' panel, capturing expressions that ranged from disbelief to pure awe. Simon Cowell, known for his razor-sharp critiques and skeptical demeanor, leaned forward with raised eyebrows, visibly shaken. His expression said it all. This was not ordinary. Fellow judges watched with open mouths, some shaking their heads in amazement. The live audience, initially cautious, erupted into spontaneous applause mid-song, a rare honor on such a competitive stage. The child's control over dynamics was breathtaking. He could soar into powerful high notes and then immediately pull back into soft, intimate whispers that held the entire room captive. It wasn't merely technical skill, it was storytelling. He sang with a depth of feeling far beyond his years, as if channeling heartbreak, longing, and passion from another lifetime. By the final chorus, the entire auditorium was on its feet, clapping in rhythm and cheering before the song even ended. The final note rang out clear and unwavering, hanging in the air like a memory refusing to fade. When silence finally fell, it lasted only a split second before an explosion of applause and cheers shook the venue. The judges stood in unison, offering a rare and unanimous standing ovation. Simon Cowell took a deep breath before speaking, clearly searching for the right words. He admitted that in all his years of judging talent shows around the world, he had never encountered anything quite like this. The authenticity, the control, the sheer shock factor, it was extraordinary. The other judges echoed his sentiments, praising not only the vocal resemblance to Elvis, but the emotional sincerity behind every lyric. The child, visibly overwhelmed yet composed, listened with wide eyes and a shy smile, perhaps only beginning to grasp the magnitude of the moment. Backstage, family members wiped away tears, knowing that this single performance might change their lives forever. In that instant, the Filipino child was no longer just a hopeful contestant. He was a global sensation in the making. What made the performance even more powerful was the story behind the voice. Growing up in modest circumstances, the child had discovered Elvis's music through old recordings and family influences. Without access to expensive vocal coaches or grand stages, he practiced relentlessly, singing along to scratchy tracks and studying every nuance of the King style. Music became both an escape and a dream, a bridge between his small hometown and the vast world beyond. Watching him on that grand stage was a reminder that talent knows no borders, no age limits, and no socio-economic boundaries. It was proof that passion, dedication, and authenticity can transcend language and culture. Millions watching at home felt the same chill that ran through the live audience. Social media exploded with reactions, with viewers calling the performance historic, unbelievable, and the closest thing to Elvis reborn. Clips of the audition spread rapidly, garnering millions of views within hours and sparking debates about whether this was the greatest Elvis tribute ever seen. By the end of the night, one thing was certain. This was more than just another audition on a popular talent show. It was a moment that would be replayed, remembered, and referenced for years to come. The Filipino child had done the impossible. He had stepped into the shadow of one of music's greatest legends and shone brightly enough to stand on his own. While comparisons to Elvis Presley were inevitable, what truly resonated was the authenticity and heart behind the performance. The child wasn't trying to replace a legend. He was honoring him in the purest way possible. And in doing so, he reminded the world why music matters, why a single voice can stop time, bridge generations, and bring strangers to their feet in shared wonder. On that unforgettable night, the spirit of Elvis lived again, not as an echo of the past, but as a new beginning for a young star whose journey was only just beginning.